Let's talk about it all with Matt Belloni. He is founding partner of Puck, also the podcast host of The Town. Matt, I looked at the letter as well. The language, again, not a lawyer. I do have a law degree. I would say this. It seems like they're priming for a lawsuit if Warner Brothers goes with the Netflix bid. Would you agree with that?
I would, as also a former lawyer, I would say this is what you do as a pre-litigation letter. But I also think that they are targeting these independent directors at Warner Discovery and basically warning them, saying, listen, you might be hearing something from management. David Zaslav, the CEO, is on that committee steering the transaction here. You might be hearing something, but you've got to do the best deal. And they're specifically targeting this report in German media that executives at Warner Discovery have specifically been lobbying against Paramount as the buyer for the company. And if true, that would be a pretty improper overstep in this regard.
I'm curious where we think this will leave them, why the investors, Matt, seem so unhappy about it with the shares near an 8-month low.
This entire saga is pretty upsetting for, I think, the Netflix shareholders. They're looking at this saying, well, why are we doing this? And we have such clear focus here. Why are we going after this asset that we don't particularly need, or at least the management has not articulated the reason why they need this asset? And then the prospect of getting into prolonged litigation here, I think, is not great for if you're a Netflix shareholder when they've really been on a roll. Now, obviously, there are reasons why Netflix would want these assets. The intellectual property of the Warner Brothers studio is pretty powerful, and that 100-year-old library could power Netflix in a way that would really supercharge its business. Plus, it would give it control of HBO Max, which they could either shut down and eliminate a big competitor, or they could operate separately or put it as a tile on Netflix, or all sorts of things. It would really give them a boost. But obviously, that's what Paramount is making the argument on antitrust grounds here about, is that this would be the most powerful streamer gobbling up a big competitor, whereas they argue, at least, the Paramount transaction would be a little bit cleaner. It would be one studio buying another, taking 5 buyers down to 4. But they believe they have a path through the Trump administration to get that approved.
Yeah, because regulatory issues are an issue. Some of that might involve our currently parent company, Comcast. You can comment on that, but also comment on this. What ends up happening to CNN? Okay, CNN's a brand. I got a lot of friends there. I'm sure Kelly does too. You probably do too, Matt. This is kind of being tossed around inside. Everybody just talks about the movie theater, movie studio, the IP of Warner Brothers. Nobody talks about CNN. What happens to that?
Well, to be clear, the Paramount bid is for all of the company, including the assets in the cable universe, which includes CNN. So if Paramount wins this deal, they would own CNN. And there's been talk about...
You merge that with CBS, which they own, right? CNN and CBS kind of merge.
There's talk about potentially combining the news assets there. And obviously, CBS has gone through a transition recently where the perception is it's become more friendly to the Trump administration. They would argue it's more down the middle. But people believe that if CNN comes under the Ellison family control, it would probably become more conservative or more or less of what it is right now. Now, Netflix doesn't want CNN. They don't want the cable networks. They just are bidding for studios and streaming. And that would mean that the other assets would go to this new Discovery Global company, and they would figure out what to do, much like Comcast is figuring out what to do with its cable networks via this new Versant spinoff. Comcast has not been involved in this fight right now. I think they're probably, a lot of people have asked me, like, why isn't Comcast arguing that both of those bidders would be anti-competitive and that they are the one that could really get this done and make it something out of Peacock and make it more of a scaled product to compete. We'll see if Comcast enters the chat here.